What's up, guys? My name is Luca Kassab, and welcome back to Fresh on Clips. So, with the Warriors Rockets game four just ending, the Clippers Nuggets series is the only series between the eight first round series. I said series way too many times. That is tied at 2-2 after both teams' home stretches. So, the Clippers Nuggets, they split games one and two in Denver, with Denver winning game one, the Clippers winning game two. Then the Clippers, who were 11-1 at home since the All-Star break, win game three in outstanding fashion, 117 to 83, behind 80 points from their big four. Whereas in game four, they lose 101 to 99, still with 80 points from their big four, but also on an Aaron Gordon put back dunk, not layup, dunk. Sorry, TikTok, my mistake. And honestly, this series, it should be Clippers 3-1, but it could also be Denver 3-1. The Clippers are a Westbrook corner three. No, Westbrook does shoot 40% from three from the corners from being up 3-1 because Westbrook's historically a bad three-point shooter. You're willing to give that up. But then on the other side, the Nuggets are one Kawhi Leonard 39-point takeover away from that. And it was a Jokic disaster class, 7 turnovers. So I see both sides when they say we should be this, we should be that. Because at the end of the day, both teams have less left games on the table. That's why it's a 2-2 series. So I think this game five is going to be huge. And obviously, game five, 82% of the teams that win game five win the series historically. But I think that playing in Denver, and I know playing in Denver is a struggle. The altitude in Denver is crazy. The fan base in Denver is insane, as I learned pretty recently on TikTok. But also, Denver, it's a tough atmosphere, but I was looking into it, and in their time, they've hosted Game 7 5 times in the playoffs. They're 3-2, and they were actually 3-1 until last year when Minnesota came in Game 7 and won. So it shows there's still hope. But this Game 5 is huge for the Clippers. They already went and stole one in Denver, but I don't think they'll lose in LA. I really don't. Our crowd was rocking. Shout out the whole of the Intuit Dome. And they've been so good there this year. I think that game four was kind of a fluke from the Clippers' perspective. Yes, it was a 3 p.m. start, and I know the Clippers historically don't play well with those. That's not an excuse. And the Clippers, they have, they're special at home. They have been. I don't know how else to say it, but if they can steal game five in Denver, I think we win the series in six. If we lose game five in Denver, we'll win in game six, and then it becomes okay. Game seven, are we relying on the 3-1 record that they have at home before last year's playoff, which is now 3-2, and that altitude, are guys having to play more minutes, so they'll be even more tired than expected? Something to think about, but especially with OKC 4-0ing Memphis, it makes going seven so much more of a problem for both sides. So the big thing, let's talk game three, game four, what the Clippers need to adjust. Game three, the Clippers won the rebound battle, and that was why they won the game. It was 48 to 38 for the Clippers in the rebound. That was the first time they had won the rebounding battle all series against a team that has Aaron Gordon. They have Jokic. They have Russell Westbrook. Christian Brown, as much as I dislike the dude, he's a solid rebounder. Also, the other big difference, the Clippers were 18 for 39 from three, while Denver was 7 for 26. Westbrook had hurt his foot in and got a DNP in the second half, though he was playing awful before sitting out. He was 1 for 5 from three, only played 9 minutes. The big thing, another big thing, 31 to 6 in bench points between the two teams. The Clippers got production, and Denver got 3 points really out of their bench because Westbrook got hurt. So outside of those 9 minutes of Westbrook, they had 3 points from their bench. Jokic had 23, 13, and 13. And that was the big thing is the Clippers went away from what had been working, making Jokic into more of a scorer than a passer, which is what they will do in game four. Then let's talk game four. That the Clippers came out way too sloppy. Anyone who watched my post game was really upset at the way that Harden and Kawhi Leonard had managed our team, had came out in that first half. James Harden had 5 shots at halftime, 11 shots total in the game. You're telling me a guy who some people, I wouldn't say he is, but some people regard as the greatest scorer ever? He has 11 shots in a playoff game? 11? He had 5 shots at half, 3 turnovers. Finished the game with 4, took better care of the ball in the second half, but that should never happen. James Harden is too good of a basketball player to be shooting 11 shots. Chris Dunn shot 9 shots. Put that in perspective. Chris Dunn played only the first 4 minutes of the second half, didn't come back after that, and he only had 2 less shots than James Harden. And let's talk about that floater he shot. Because what? You're telling me you're not going to shoot the ball all game, and then with the game on the line, you want to shoot a floater? Come on, you missed it. You got lucky that Zoo was there. Zoo Shack, Zoo Goat, Zoo Butts, Zoo Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, whatever you want to call him. He's been phenomenal for the Clippers. His minutes have been phenomenal. He had 19 and 14 in game four, but he's just consistently doing what he can on Jokic. Jokic is to a point where he's unstoppable. And you have this guy, Zubats, making his life difficult. He's missing the first shot. No one else is rebounding. Jokic's getting an offensive board and he's going back up. But Zoo is making his life difficult, and Zoo is doing a great job on the help side when a guy like Batum picks him up, for example, on a switch. The difference between game three and game four to me, though, was the fact that the Clippers didn't really get as much production from their bench. They got half of what they had the last game. They had 16 points from their bench. You had a guy like Batum who shot 1 for 6 from the field. Bogdanovich, while he was great in the fourth, still not shooting the ball very well. His shooting slump has continued. DJJ's yet to find his 3-point touch, though he was great in the mid range. And Ben Simmons just isn't a scorer. We know that. He's not aggressive enough because if he was, he'd be a much better basketball player. He doesn't look to attack downhill. And when he does, when he scores out of the short roll, when he gets that ball and goes downhill, he's dominant. But he just is too scared of free throws or something that it doesn't work. We had 16 points. Denver, yet again, only had 4 points from their bench. Denver had all of their 5 starters play at least 42 minutes. Jokic isn't getting any rest. DeAndre Jordan is playing minutes in a playoff series. That should say something about the lack of depth that Denver has. Jokic had one of those games, though. I will not lie. 36, 21, and 8. Sometimes these guys are just on their A game. Jokic was not about to go down in the series 3-1. You could just tell by the way he came out. He came out firing. He came out aggressive. And that's the big thing with Jokic is, yes, we want to make him into more of a scorer, but he has nights like this where he just cannot be stopped. Let's see. Denver did win the rebounding battle this game, 47 to 43. So not as bad as usual as it's been this series, but just not good enough. But the big difference to me, 10 for 30 from three for the Clippers. We mentioned only 2 3-point shots for James Harden, another guy who some would consider a top 10 3-point shooter ever. And he's been in 3-point contests. He's on the all-time list for 3-pointers made. Only 2 shots from three. Meanwhile, Nick Batum, uncharacteristic game, 1 for 6 from three. A lot of good looks. It just did not want to fall. And Chris Dunn, you guys know. Anyone who listens to the pod consistently know. Anyone who's close to me knows. I will defend KD with my life. He is one of, if not the best perimeter defenders in basketball. He is the greatest overall defensive player I've ever watched on the Clippers, on the ball and in the help side. But when you're not providing offensively and teams are doubling off you, you're 1 for 9 from the field in this game, 1 for 6 from three. You're missing your mid range. But when teams are doubling off you and making Harden and Kawhi's life harder, Kawhi was getting the ball anytime he had it. They were blitzing. He has torn them up this series, so they have to. They have to find a way to get the ball out of their hands. Harden, same thing. Anytime the screen's coming, instead, because of how good the Zoo Harden pick and roll has been all year, it's a blitz. They're trying to make it harder for Harden to get that ball in the Zoo or come off that screen tight and get a float or a lob to Zoo. But let's some of these, it's just the 10 for 30 from three upsets me a ton. The lack of aggressiveness. But then you have a guy like Kawhi Leonard, who he's known as one of the most efficient players, scorers in basketball. 4 for 11 at half, finished 10 for 22, below 50%. Yes, he turned up in the last 6 minutes like the rest of the team did. We finished the game on a 30-9 run when we were down by 22 points, and we lost because Kawhi Leonard and James Harden did not come out seriously enough. Neither of them looked like they wanted the ball. Neither of them wanted to shine, and they came out lazy. They came out flat-footed. Harden's defense was atrocious. Harden's help defense is maybe the worst help defense I've seen. We have a guy like Chris Dunn who's so good in the help. Kawhi not having to guard the team's best player. He's been great in help. But then you have Harden who fails to step over. He's taking away threes. He's not contesting the three-point shooter. It's so lazy. And the boxing out. Initially, I'd blame James Harden for this because you had the Aaron Gordon put back on what, as Paul George would say, was that's a bad shot by Jokic. But both Harden, Norm Powell, Bogdanovich, all just watching. Harden didn't put a body on AG. Norm Powell, who was the closest, didn't put a body on him. Bogdanovich, who knows why he was even in the game. Yes, that defensive five in that zone had been very good. They had found a way to make Jokic into just nothing because there was always help side, and they were getting to the shooters. They were forcing a guy like CB to shoot. But bringing a lineup out of Bogdanovich, Kawhi, Zoo, Norm Powell, and James Harden for a defensive stop when you have Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., and Ben Simmons, who has been phenomenal this series defensively. He has been everywhere. He's playing the non-Zoo minutes. He's guarding Jokic. He's dropping in the help. He's back on Jokic. He's contesting shooters. But you still manage to put Norm Powell, who has been historically bad on defense this season for his standards. He's been an average level defender in this postseason. James Harden, who, as I said, is as lazy as possible when it comes to defense. Then you have Bogdanovich, who is getting hunted by Jamal Murray. All three of them on the court to close a game when you need one stop. And guess what? If we had won that game, you know who would have won? If we had gone to overtime, we would have won that game. Nikola Jokic had played 42 minutes. Jamal Murray 42 minutes. Aaron Gordon 40 minutes. CB 42 minutes. The lack of depth that Denver has been showing. They don't have the depth to contest with us. Peyton Watson, Julian Strother hasn't even been getting run because he's not good enough defensively to play against us. Russell Westbrook's hurt. Their first guy off the bench was Vlatko Konchar. I like Konchar. He seems like a cool dude, but he's not an NBA playoff player. DeAndre Jordan's their backup center. He's too old and slow to be a playoff player. They don't. And Jalen Pickett, the guy who got Mike Malone fired, he's not good enough. So they're playing their core five and Westbrook when he's healthy, 40 plus minutes between their core four, and then you have Westbrook and MPJ splitting minutes. And you're telling me that you're gonna lose? We have the depth advantage. Hell, we probably have the second and third best player, maybe even fourth in this series. And you're telling me that you're gonna lose? Jokic is the best player in this series, 100%. He's one or two on everyone's list in the world, right? Kawhi, second best player in the series. Harden, Zoo, your choice. Which one's better? Then you have Jamal Murray, you have Aaron Gordon. Then I'd throw Norm Powell. We have our role players. Derrick Jones Jr., Chris Dunn, who, even though he's had bad shooting games, he hasn't been shooting the ball well. He's still one of the best defenders in basketball. And he's still an elite role player. Nick Batum turns up every year in the postseason. Hell, I was calling for him to get a statue outside Intuit if we win the finals this year. He's been that good of a role player. Ben Simmons has been a fine backup center. Yes, he's not aggressive enough, but defensively, he's elite. He's elite on the boards. He hustles. He's better than what they have outside of Westbrook on their bench. And you're telling me that you're going to lose to a team playing their core five? Look at what just happened to the Lakers. You know what the Lakers did? They played their best five players the whole second half, and they were gassed at the end of the game because Minnesota subbed well. Minnesota took advantage of it. They pushed the pace. They hit open shots. They made sure that they had to rotate. What are we doing? We're not attacking Jokic, who's not a great defensive player. Jamal Murray's a terrible defensive player. Michael Porter Jr. is a bad defensive player. CB, inconsistent defensive player. Aaron Gordon and Russell Westbrook are their two anchors on defense. And we're not attacking it. We're not putting them in rotation. Come on. Now, the big thing, how do the Clippers win this series? How do they win this game five? And with how Chris Dunn was being played, with the leaving him open or leaving whoever it is guarding him. It was Jokic to guard him from the jump in the post, or you send him as a double. You either have to put Batum in the starting lineup, put another shooter in there, put more length in there, or you have to use Chris Dunn in the Westbrook role. The same thing that we were using Westbrook as, a short roll, a small screener, that's what we need from Chris Dunn. Because I trust his in between game. Even though he shot 1 for 9 and missed two of those in between floaters, he hesitated. His confidence was shot. I trust him to hit that floater. So you have to use him as let's have the smaller guy come set the screen. Let's make Jokic or Jamal Murray, whoever's guarding him, put him in the action. And let's have Chris Dunn on a short roll so he could get that float, the lob to Zoo, the backdoor cut from Kawhi, whatever. DJ, DJ. Or you put a guy like Batum, more length on the court, more length to disrupt a Jamal Murray, a Jokic, better on the boards for with our three guard lineup, and it opens the floor up for Norm Powell. One thing that I will say and give a lot of credit to Ty Lue for is the big change he made was instead of pulling Zoo, Norm, and Kawhi all together and leaving Harden with the four reserves, he went game 3 and 4. Harden and Norm staying in because historically this season, Norm has been a better 3-point shooter without Kawhi. Norm is a confidence driven player. He simplified the game since game 2 when he got in that altercation. Norm Powell has been making quick reads out of the screen. He's been throwing the quick passes when he sees the blitzes coming. He's hit big time threes like the two at the end of the game versus Denver in game 4. He's hit big shots. Look at game 2, the 7 points in the fourth quarter. Game 3, he still had 20. Game 4, he had 24 on 7 for 11 from the field. He's been efficient. He's been that guy. And giving him reps without Kawhi on the court, letting him be a ball handler, letting him make plays has been something that has greatly helped the Clippers this series. Love to see less Bogdanovich minutes. He's just not good enough defensively. His shots aren't falling. He's not giving us a ton. He's great in the zone. If we run that 1-1-3 zone that we've been running, I'm very happy to give Bogdanovich minutes in those stretches. But if we're straight up playing man, Jamal Murray is hunting him and taking that long two every time. We cannot be playing him there. On Denver's side, they need to get production out of someone on that bench. Their lack of shot creation has shown this whole series. Outside of Jokic, the only other shot creator on this team is Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's been kind of streaky. He had the 23 in game 3. He had 21 in game 4. Game 2, he was what? 5 for 18? He's just not, even game 4, he was awful from the field. But he just has not been good enough offensively for them. So it's really Jokic generating looks for the MPJ, who, yes, even though his AC joint is messed up, he's still hitting threes. He was 4 for 7 from 3 in game 4. CB's been hitting his threes, that little front runner. Most overrated player in basketball. Can't believe La Murray gave him a most improved player vote over Zubats, but it's those guys who are getting created off Jokic. Same thing with AG. But yes, making Jokic into a scorer is the best thing we can do right now. And that's something I am okay with because of their lack of shot creation out. And because of how good Jokic makes these other guys. But with Denver, they need a guy like Jalen Pickett, Peyton Watson, if Russell Westbrook, if he's healthy, Julian Strother, somebody has to come through and give them some form of production because it's getting clear to them. It's getting as clear as it possibly can in this series that their guys are gassed. Jokic is gasped. He's grasping for air the entire game. That uncharacteristic fadeaway with two people on him, maybe it was a drawn up play, but that uncharacteristic fadeaway, that's something that you cannot see Jokic doing on a normal day-to-day basis because he's not that gassed. And my last thoughts on game 4, this series as a whole. James Harden trying to get that full court pass to Zubats in the first quarter led to a Jokic insane, basically logo 3 at the buzzer. well contested by Zubats, well contested by DJJ. And we lost that game by 2 points. Those 3 points right there from Jokic is the difference between a win and a 2-point L. James Harden's got to be smarter. He's got to be better because at the end of the day, even though I love to say that James Harden could be subpar as long as Kawhi, and Norm hoop, that's what I've been saying all season. James Harden has to take care of the ball. Sure, he can have games where he shoots 11 total shots. Yes, it'll annoy me. Yes, it'll annoy every Clippers fan. But if he's not taking care of the ball, he's hurting us. That's all his job is to do, is to get other players, create open shots for them, hope that they go in at the clip of 18 for 39 rather than 10 for 30 because we have snipers. But that's it. He doesn't need to be a scorer. He just has to be making the right reads out of the pick and roll. He has to be facilitating to get someone else good looks. And he has to take care of the ball. Clippers have to go win game 5. It's going to be hard to win a game 7 in Denver, but the lack of depth is helping us in that case. Kawhi Leonard, I'm feeling a monster game. Game 6 reminiscent from 2021 against Dallas. I'm going to need another big Norm game. Just has to continue to play simply. Hopefully, we pray that we have a James Harden masterclass. He's a known streaky playoff player, but I know he has it in him. Clippers ideally close this series out in 6 if they can. Get some rest before playing OKC. And Denver, if Denver wins this series, hats off to Jokic because he is hard carrying. Let's go Clippers. The pick remains Clips in 6. This game tomorrow is going to be telling. Stop Jokic, get buckets, rebound the ball, take care of the ball. Those are the game plan. Those are the keys. Let's go Clippers. Peace.
Clippers bring it in. 5 seconds to go. Tie game. Seatbelts are fastened. Lou Williams for the win. Bingo!
Oh my goodness.
God, he got it! 1 second left. Clippers by 2.
The 3 for the tie. Oh my goodness! I don't believe